Teamsters have won a historic UPS contract. They reached the most historic tentative agreement for workers in the history of UPS, protecting and rewarding more than 340,000 UPS Teamsters nationwide. The overwhelmingly lucrative contract raises wages for all workers, creates more full-time jobs, and includes dozens of workplace protections and improvements. The UPS Teamsters National Negotiating Committee unanimously endorsed a 5-year tentative agreement. Rank and file UPS Teamsters sacrificed everything to get this country through a pandemic and enabled UPS to reap record-setting profits. Teamster labor moves America. The union went into this fight committed to winning for our members. We demanded the best contract in the history of the UPS, and we got it, said the Teamsters General President Sean O'Brien. UPS has put in $30 billion in new money on the table as a direct result of these negotiations. We've changed the game, battling it out day and night to make sure our members want an agreement that pays strong wages, rewards their labor, and doesn't require a single concession. This contract sets a new standard in the labor movement and raises the bar for all workers. UPS came dangerously close to putting itself on strike, but we kept firm on our demands, said Teamsters General Secretary Treasurer Fred Zuckerman. In more than 40 years in Louisville, representing members at World Part, the largest UPS hub in the country, I've never seen a national contract that levels the playing field for workers so dramatically as this one. The agreement puts more money in our members' pockets and establishes a full range of protections for them on the job. We stayed focused on our members and fought like hell to get everything that full-time and part-time UPS Teamsters deserve, Zuckerman said. Are you doing a Boston or Brooklyn, Jesus Christ? A bit of both. Sean O'Brien sounds like he's a Boston guy from Brooklyn. If you've ever heard him speak, he literally sounds part Boston, part Brooklyn. So congratulations to the Teamsters on this historic dub, this absolutely fat dub. Hot labor summer, baby. It's happening. It's happening all around, dude. All around, dude. All aboard the labor train. We will see. It still has to get voted in by U.S. rank and file, and I heard a lot of people still on the no train today. I'd be shocked if the negotiations committee thinks this is a good deal. I'd be surprised if the rank and file don't consider it a good deal. They get a $275 raise. Brother, that's an insanely good situation, especially all things considered, especially for comparative salaries. That's $275 is really good. What are you talking about? They don't get $2.75 of raise a year. They get $2.75 an hour a raise and more as well. And also, cars that used to quite literally have their AC units taken out of them are now going to have AC units, which is a massive, massive improvement. And I'm shocked that it was even legal to begin with, for the record. Like, there's a lot of quality of life things that UPS was already conceding on. $5,500 salary increase of full-time plus everything else they got non-monetarily. Yeah, we're only talking about like the money aspect of it. But there's also another side to this. Sean O'Brien says historic agreement for the Teamsters and labor for labor as a whole. Our rank and file unity is unmatched. They earned this and they deserve it. Proud to have worked alongside our team and damn proud to be a Teamster. Thanks for having us on Team Cavuto.
I'm proud to say we reached a historic deal.
Lack of AC saves a lot of MPG. There was a reason. No, I know why UPS was doing it. Guys, I've known about the AC problem for years. I've talked about the AC problem for years. When I first found out about it, I was like, this is the most unimaginable cruelty I've ever seen. There were people in my chat like 2 fucking years ago when I was talking about the AC problem saying, no, they can never change that. They can never change that. That's insane. What are you talking about? That's a ridiculous thing to try and change because like it would be unimaginably expensive. Every fucking summer, the AC conversation used to get brought up. And every summer when I talked about how it's unimaginably cruel to fucking force people into these work conditions. Oh, wait, I got a Alex Press update. Here's one aspect of we'll talk about the historic W for the full-time contracts, but apparently there's a little bit of issues where we're going to get to that in a second. I'm being told Chicagoland is voting no, and the Teamsters are selling out the 2/3 of the workforce that is part-time. Okay, so that's the update I was going to give you guys. I was wrong when I made this assumption about the rank and file. From what I understand, there are some issues, potentially. Good contract, but the only element of it that is like relatively weak is some unhappiness could happen from some part-timers because while they've now won a $21 an hour minimum, which is up from as low as $15.50, the part-timers were pushing for $25 minimum, and that is the only point in the contract that people have somewhat of an issue with. That could be a point of contention. Let's hear what Sean O'Brien said to Neil Capito
today. To say we reached a historic deal with UPS. It's a $30 billion deal that will go in the pockets of all our members, both full-time and part-time.
So maybe you can delineate some of its provisions. A lot of your workers felt that a few years ago, 5 years ago, the last contract negotiations, you got the shorter end of the stick. You were of that opinion yourself. So how did you avoid that this go-round?
Well, the first thing we did is we went out and talked to our members and listened to our rank and file members who have to work in these conditions, and we got direction and guidance from them. We eliminated two-tier wage systems. We put air conditioners in trucks. We also improved pensions. We maintain health care. We've done a lot of great work. We got UPS to agree Martin Luther King Day as a paid holiday. We've made so many improvements in this contract, all for the benefit of our members. We took care of the part-timers, driving that starting wage rate up, taking care of long-term part-timers, make sure they're rewarded, and everybody was rewarded for their hard work. So tremendous victory. It's a tremendous victory for labor.
Here's the thing. One, I think everybody understands that I nailed Sean O'Brien's accent by this point, right? So thank you for recognizing that in the chat. It's your birthday, so we have to be nice, but don't push it. Oh, come on, dude. Come on, dude. What the fuck? About the no AC issue for chatters?
This
Yeah, here.
video of a UPS driver collapsing once again has people asking why more UPS trucks don't have air conditioning.
Woke
yeah,
trucks.
these brown metal boxes typically don't have AC, even though drivers have been hospitalized and even died from heat. I've gotten readings from drivers inside these trucks, and some are pretty alarming. I've asked UPS about air conditioning. They said it wouldn't be effective since their trucks are big, have open doors, and are constantly turning.
It's so funny. It's like, you might be wondering, like, where the fuck are these chatters getting these takes from? And then you realize, oh no, they're just like directly repeating talking points that they probably read in liberal media articles that are directly quoting verbatim what the Capitol owners are saying. That is how you end up doing company PR. That's how you end up, that's how you end up getting indoctrinated.
Turning on and off. I've also asked a worker safety advocate.
When they get back on that truck, being able to be right in front of a cool vent blowing cool air is going to be significantly better than getting back and just getting in an extremely hot truck. And so it's imperfect, but it's the solution to help.
UPS says it has a cool solutions program, which trains drivers to work safely in heat. Julie says they can do more, like adding brakes on hot days, hiring more drivers, even providing white uniforms in trucks.
President Union Trucker says, I took a thermometer to work one time when I was a PKG driver, package driver. It was a 117-degree day here in SoCal, and the back at the hottest point was 153. I literally would just get in and out as fast as possible because I couldn't breathe. Holy fuck. I mean, it's literally a tin can. You're cooking up a steak at that point. Some more reactions coming in from UPS Teamsters. Getting reactions from a lot of UPS workers who are feeling disappointed by this deal. Coincidentally, a UPS delivery driver just delivered a package to my house in DC. I asked him what he thought about the deal. They didn't get what part-timers wanted. I'm going to vote no. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This is somewhat contentious. It's more contentious than I thought it was going to be. So I work out with a bunch of actors. One of them is a strike captain for SAG. And this morning I was talking about how SAG-AFTRA and the WGA are some of the more powerful unions in the country. And he was like, what the f*** do you mean powerful? Like, I don't want to, call him out or anything. But he was just like, what do you mean powerful? Like, that's like, our wages have decreased dramatically. And I was like, yeah, powerful in comparison to like American unions, my man. The only union that is actually powerful in this country is the police union because it's not a real union. Point is this. In comparison to how things are, yes, they are better than others. In comparison to how things should be, they are not great. But this should not stop us. This is a very big and very good time for unions. A lot of activity happening in the labor field. Get excited. Try to unionize your workplace. Engage in acts of solidarity. Genuine question, how do police unions differ? Police, both historically and in contemporary society, are seen as the final safeguard that defend the interests of capital. Police do not protect and serve the people or the public. They protect and serve the interests of capital. That is precisely the reason why they are allowed to exist in the way that they are. The more violent they are, the better they are at their jobs of separating the poor from the wealthy, making sure that through state violence, through the exertion of state violence, which the police have a monopoly on, and the domestic stage. You can keep certain people, certain groups of people, as the permanent underclass. You can violently continue engaging in domestic colonialism on internal colonies, as we were talking about the other day, which happen to be black and brown neighborhoods. It extends to the border police when it comes to immigration. America is constantly profit-seeking. It's the most capitalist nation on the planet. Of course, we are going to be constantly looking for new ways to squeeze out profits, and there is nothing more profitable than slavery, baby. You know it. I know it. People in the state of Florida, unfortunately, will not know it as well as they should, because we're going to talk about the Florida Board of Education a little bit further, but that is how it works, as the profit rates have a tendency to decline year over year. Profiteers, capital owners, people who care about the shareholders and their interests, people in the boards, people in positions of power, people in positions of actual power, are going to look to new ways, look to new creative ways of creating new profit vectors. What is this? UPS investors don't seem too happy about the terms of agreement, Lamau. I mean, that's fine. It's just not really a thing. I don't like this kind of stock market analysis. Speaking of union victories, we're on the verge of winning hours for 5,000 workers around the country. Happy birthday, and thank you for inspiring me to go out there and start this. TV commercial production workers group on track to form national union with IATSE. The group, titled Stanwood Production, comprised of an estimated 5,000 workers. Fuck yeah, dude, this is fire. A majority of which have signaled their support for joining the crew union, a result confirmed by a third-party arbitrator. Bryan Cranston going off, delivers a rousing speech addressed to Bob Iger. All right, let's do it. Hot labor summer. Strikes are upon us. They're happening all around.
Tiger. I know, sir, that you look through things through a different lens. We don't expect you to understand who we are, but we ask you to hear us, and beyond that, to listen to us. When we tell you we will not be having our jobs taken away and giving to robots. We will not have you take away our right to work and earn a decent living. And lastly, and most importantly, we will not allow you to take away our dignity. We are you.
Motherfuckers out here talking like Lenin. Dude, just a little bit of labor action, and all of a sudden you got Bryan Cranston being Lenin, talking like Lenin. I call him Lenin. Character development from meth manufacturer to union advocate is crazy. So here's one thing I gotta mention for all of you, okay? Remember, he doesn't have to do this at all. The Rock doesn't have to dump 7 figures into the SAG-AFTRA strike fund. Those guys have already made it. They already have enough money. They don't care about the $26,000 cutoff for healthcare plans. Like, they're good. They got theirs. They're so good. The reason why they're putting their brand out there, putting their name out there, putting their fucking voice out there is because they recognize how much help they got from their fucking unions early on. So whenever people look at these guys and go, this guy's worth $10 million, what the fuck's he talking about? What does he want, 11 million? Like, you're failing to understand the point. They are members of the union. They recognize the importance of the union. They understand that originally the union was there to help them out. And they recognize now that there are people who need help in the same predicaments that they're in.
Through and through, all the way to the end. Thank you. God bless you. Stay together. We will win this fight. God bless you.
So-called leftists on Twitter were shitting on the millionaire actors for being on the picket line. Hey, Debunking, that's a good thing. Dude. Those people are fucking stupid. Just because someone masks themselves, surrounds themselves with like leftist aesthetics, does not change the reality that they are fucking idiots. I feel like the guy that played Trumbo would be a socialist for sure the whole movie. I don't think any of these guys are actually socialists. They're not. They might even have a distaste for the term socialism. It does not matter to me at all. Unions are not socialism. They're unionism. It's trade unionism. It's a separate thing, okay? But they're still very good. It brings you closer, or it at least puts you at the table when the means of production are being divided to a certain degree. Doesn't mean that it's socialism at all. It's not socialism. A lot of union members in America probably might not even like socialism. Doesn't matter to me anyway. I don't give a fuck. Unions are not about left or right. Unions are about what's fair. Always always remember that. Why do people just believe these people are leftists just because they say it in their bio? No, I think a lot of people are well-intentioned leftists even, but they're just like fucking stupid. We mistake our supposed intellectual allies as like intelligent people because we think we are intelligent people. Mara Wilson put it really well in regards to Cranston and why he might want to speak here. This is a man who worked 20 years before becoming a series regular, nearly 30 before becoming a household name. He did regional theater, voiceover for commercials, and anime dubbing in the meantime. He knows what it's like to be a working actor. Listen to him. Oh, dude, Dick Cerdo just ripping Ken Klippenstein's coverage. That's awesome. Netflix offering a salary for $900,000 a year job listing for an AI product manager while the average actor makes less than $26,000 a year. It's more than the average. Only 13% of the SAG-AFTRA union is clearing the $26,000 healthcare coverage line. That is entirely the fault of the studios. It's insane thing of union busting in the USA is fucking insane. Like, it's not a huge thing here in the UK. My sister's the chair of the young members in the RMT, and she went to Cuba on a union-funded trip and met up with a lot of other unions from all around the world. And she spoke with Chris Smalls, and everyone from the UK didn't even know that, like, the union busting videos they show were a thing. UK in some respects is better, but in others it's worse, honestly. It's give and take. I wouldn't look to the UK to say, like, they are a beacon of unionization efforts and powerful, especially when you think about, like, how much disdain the overarching population has, including corporate media in general or state media in general. They're fucking insane over there, dude. They would just like straight up. I've talked about this with Alex Press a lot, and this is something I've brought up on stream as well before, but I'll tell you this. In the United States of America, due to capital owners having such a stranglehold on any kind of unionization efforts, due to like union funding mechanisms being shut out with Supreme Court cases like Janus decision and the like, even in the public sector, right? There's not a lot of union activity, so the media doesn't have like the terms to communicate negatively about unions, and they usually just like cover it much more positively in comparison to the British media. The British media across the board will just like rip any kind of union activity to shreds nonstop immediately from the jump. They have a very openly contentious relationship with the likes of Mick Lynch, for example. They will do smear campaigns. They have a lot more experience with like with outside attacks on labor unions than the U.S. media does, partially because the U.S. media, due to many years of not really any kind of union activity, or like a lot of unions becoming like corporate neoliberal unions in general that simply are just another aspect of like the Democratic Party. Look no further than union leadership in Nevada, for example, for the hospitality union there, unironically advocating against Medicare for all because they wanted to make sure that they had like a benefit, a genuine benefit for joining the hospitality union. There are many examples of this kind of thing happening all around the country. These are some of the reasons as to why the American media is not necessarily as openly anti-union as possible, or as other places like the UK.
Businesses just aren't worried about breaking the law. And why would they be?
Or they are, in my opinion, and this is a bit of a conspiracy theory, but I thought the Howard Schultz Starbucks efforts were actually deliberate. I think that they wanted to violate the law to finally fucking put the hammer and the nail to the coffin of the NLRB by destroying the remaining labor protections that exist. And I think that that's the reason why they were like very openly violating existing labor law. Because what are you going to do? You're going to take it up to the Supreme Court? Guess what they did recently? Remember the work stoppage that occurred in I think it was Colorado or Washington with the Teamsters there? Was it Teamsters? They were the truckers, right? They left their cement trucks running in the concrete company, and the Supreme Court basically decided on behalf of the capital owners in that situation, the Washington cement workers, and they decided that yes, in that specific instance, the cement workers union was liable for the potential damage to capital, which didn't even fucking happen, for the record. The potential damage to capital that could have occurred.
Union dues display, like this poster at Delta, or this display at Boeing, where managers prominently arranged a pile of goods in the break room to convince their workers that union dues are too expensive. But like we've already mentioned, unions raise wages. Yeah,
the most typical anti-union narrative is like, bro, why would you spend it on a union dues when you can buy a PS3 or a PS4 or a PS5 or still a PS5, but you can't really find a PS5 anymore. You know what I mean?
Even assuming you make minimum wage,
You're laughing at the PS3 because that's like the most common meme. Like that's an old ass meme.
Totally average 13% increase equals $2,000 more extra at the end of the year in salary raises alone. Not to mention the odds that your benefits go up too. Union dues at Starbucks, just as an example, are at most around $550 a year. So unionizing, in a totally run-of-the-mill hypothetical, is a roughly $1,500 profit. Not to mention the fact that without a union, your boss could always lower your salary at any time or refuse to give you a raise while inflation keeps eating away at the value of your pay. And look,
the reality is there would never be a necessity for unions if capital owners truly, out of the kindness of their hearts, decided to give you the benefits in pay and engage in a fair distribution of profits on their own. Except, once again, like I said, it's supposed to be magnanimous to do that. Except it's what's fair. It's what's right. The point in that circumstance is that it shouldn't require kindness to do that. That's not going to happen. You have to have some mechanism enforcing that relationship because you just don't have that. You do not have that at all. It's not going to happen. You need leverage. Exactly. Okay, well, whoever wrote this prompt is mean. I'm so cracked at drawing. If you guys can't figure mine out, it's not even funny.
Holy, girl.
I feel like I have to like send flowers to whoever got mine. Eating a pizza.
Couldn't recognize herself. Hasan, why?